Hello and welcome to my channel and to this video, which is the first video in a new series. I'm Yasmin Soraya, and I am happy to introduce to you this new series of videos called The Path of the Feminine. This is going to be a video series where I'm going to speak all about the feminine path of spirituality, what feminine spirituality is, what is the difference between the spirituality that we have learned and the ancient feminine spirituality that we are rediscovering in this new age now that is returning, and what is the difference between feminine spirituality and masculine spirituality, why maybe want to choose as women the path of feminine spirituality, or even as men if we feel called to it. What does it mean to be on that path? What does it look like, and how can we get started on it, and what can it bring to our lives? So these are just some of the themes that this series of videos will cover, and today we're getting started with the first one, which is the difference between feminine spirituality and masculine spirituality. And I think this is essential because most of us grew up with a concept of spirituality that is completely focused on the masculine path of spirituality. And so many women, when they start on that spiritual journey, get frustrated and feel stuck because they feel like they're not getting ahead, they're not making progress, they're not getting anywhere, and they think they're incapable, they're not able to, or they're doing something wrong, and start thinking it's about themselves. Very many of them with whom I spoke start thinking it's about them and they're the problem, and they're maybe not capable or they're not spiritual enough. And when in truth, the problem is that it's just often not the right path for us to go ahead and do all those masculine practices, because as women, we are having a dominant feminine energy. We are mostly feminine in our energy. We have feminine dominance in our energy. And so we need different things than masculine dominant beings, which men are naturally. So shortly to be said here, this is not a gender specific topic in saying that all women have to feel called to the feminine path of spirituality and all men have to feel called to the masculine path. This is not at all what I'm saying here. But what I'm saying is that naturally there is two energies existing, the masculine and the feminine, that are creating all that is. Naturally, we all have both. So no matter if you're a man or a woman, you have feminine energy and you have masculine energy. Though there is a tendency that feminine beings, so souls that have created themselves a feminine body, have a dominance of feminine energy naturally, and masculine beings, souls that have created themselves a masculine body, have a dominance of masculine energy. Why? Simply because of the fact we are living in a world of duality. The earth is a world of duality where we have the different aspects of things. We have duality, we have day and night, we have light and dark, we have those opposing, those opposites, to allow us to experience life, existence in the way we are able to experience it here on earth. That is very controversial and very intense, but also allows us to feel much more and feel much deeper. Not going too far into that topic right now, but as a result of that, we are also experiencing the masculine and feminine on Earth as separate entities, where in other dimensions, in higher dimensional planets, often they are so woven into each other that there isn't even a gender with the beings that live on that planet. Not relevant for Earth. On Earth, we're experiencing genders. So we can experience feminine and masculine as separate from each other and as opposing or like different energies. So when our soul chooses to come down to earth, our soul decides if it wants to incarnate in a feminine body or in a masculine body, depending on which experiences it wants to have in this life and which lessons it wants to learn. Because as a feminine being, we will learn different lessons for our soul's evolution than we will as a masculine being. And so there is no better or worse. They're both equally as good, equally as important. And if you believe in reincarnation, you're probably aware that your soul doesn't always incarnate in the same gender because it wants to get all the lessons and it wants to learn everything. So you're going to incarnate once as a male, once as a female, depending on what you want to learn in what life. So because of that, many female beings in this life will feel more drawn to learn the feminine lessons. And so the path of spirituality, at the end of the day, from a soul point of level, is always learning lessons. It is remembering who we really are as we learn the lessons that our soul has chosen for this lifetime. And so the path of feminine spirituality is the path of embracing this feminine existence, this feminine way of being in the world to learn those lessons and raise our consciousness. The same is true for the masculine. Though, because I'm speaking on the feminine in this series, I will put a little bit more focus on that side right now in this video. So what is the difference? What is the difference between feminine spirituality and masculine spirituality? Well, shortly said, they are like day and night. The masculine energy, we're going to start with the masculine energy because that's what most people relate to in spirituality. The masculine energy in its nature is, in its highest divine expression, is the observer. It's consciousness. It doesn't influence anything, it observes. It just sees and recognizes and observes. And so you can imagine it as this observer energy, this often painted as the God who sees all. Like, this phrase probably fits best. The consciousness, the God who sees all. And at the same time, when we go down in dimensions, so that's the very highest expression of the masculine. It's just this observer, this consciousness that creates the space and then observes what happens within it. And as we go down a bit in the expression of it, and the more material it becomes, the more other qualities are added to it. And the more it becomes also diversified in its expression. Just like we become more diversified, the more we are in our human expression, the more aspects of ourselves there are. So as we go down, it starts having other qualities. It has the quality of the space, of the container, the energy that holds the life that is within it. So often described in different spiritual paths as the masculine is the glass and the feminine is the water inside the glass. So the masculine is the container, the shape. And I like to refer to it, but I'm going to get to that later, also in a different way. But so it is the shape giver. It is the structure, the container. Its consciousness creates the container for life to exist within this container. It also is the provider, the protector. It is that which ensures the existence of life by giving it a space to exist in, giving it consciousness to be aware of itself and live in that sense, giving it that divine spark of life as consciousness. It is also that which ensures that this life has everything it needs as the provider energy, which comes through its consciousness, because its consciousness then leads to life resourcing itself. And then it protects that life. That is also an aspect of the masculine energy. It creates a safe space for that life to exist in, and it creates boundaries and limits and like protection for that life. So what you probably already figured out by now is when I'm talking about life, that is that is the feminine aspect of things. That is the feminine energy. And so in her highest expression, the feminine energy is pure life force. She's just pure life force. All that is, all that exists, all that ever existed is the feminine. All matter, all form, all life, while the consciousness of the masculine shapes the form. That which fills the form and makes matter matter is the feminine. And so when we're looking at that and bringing our consciousness to that a bit now, we see that actually all that exists is expression of the divine feminine. And all form, all plants, all animals, all life that is. And although they have both energies and they might be dominant in one energy, it is the feminine that allows life to exist. It is the masculine that brings in the consciousness and the awareness that life has about itself, but it is the feminine that allows life to live. She is the constant flow of life. The feminine cannot not flow. And that is often something that is gotten wrong, because we have that idea of masculine is the active principle and the feminine is the passive principle. No. That has been so distorted. The masculine is only the active principle in the sense of it is the aspect, it is the consciousness, it is the awareness. But other than that, it is actually a very still principle, a very stay as a container, a space would not move. The masculine also tends not to move, and that's why for the masculine, practices of stillness meditation, of emptying one's mind, are super efficient. Transcending the mind, transcending the body, coming back to pure consciousness. That is masculine. While the feminine, she is not passive at all in the sense of she doesn't move. She's actually in constant movement. She is the flow of pure life force energy. What is meant when we say the feminine is passive is that she isn't in that sense consciousness as the masculine is. The consciousness of the masculine directs the flow of the feminine. And in that sense, she is passive, because when she is in her highest expression and he is in her highest expression, he is in his highest expression, his energy, his masculine consciousness directs her natural flow, because she is constant movement, she is constant flow, she is constant life force. And that needs direction, because if it doesn't get any direction, it doesn't create anything. And so he, in his masculine principle of forming, shaping, structuring, and then bringing that still consciousness, shapes where her pure life force flows. So the feminine is constant flow. She's constant movement. She's aliveness. She's the all of everything. She is all that is. Our planets, our universe, your body, everything, that is all created by your feminine energy. And that is valid for masculine beings as it is for feminine beings. This is created by the life force that flows through you at all times. And that is very interesting when we look at how the feminine and the masculine play into each other when we're going into something like stillness meditation, for example. So calling on the masculine principle, we go into stillness meditation, we're emptying our minds, we're trying to be as still as possible. Emptying the mind, emptying the thoughts, being really calm, and like becoming that observer. Well, there's one thing you cannot stop doing no matter how hard you try. That is breathing. Because if you stop breathing, you stop moving life force through your body and you die. You cannot exist in this world anymore. And so there we see the purpose of the feminine principle. And there we see what it means to be passive, like as the feminine is passive, because you don't need to think to breathe. You don't need to focus to breathe. You don't even need to want to breathe to breathe. You don't need consciousness to breathe. You will just breathe. And if you're trying to stop breathing, your body will make you breathe. And that is the feminine. That is the flow. You don't need consciousness for your breath to flow. It will just flow. And that is where we see the two of them moving together. How the feminine always animates our body. It always keeps our breath flowing. It always keeps our blood flowing. Our heart keeps pumping. That is the feminine. And the masculine allows us to be aware of those things. So, where do we want to go with this? Need to tune back in. So the feminine is that constant movement. The feminine is that path of constant aliveness. And it is a very material path, you can say. It's a very, not in the sense of materially focused as in consumeristic, but it is a very embodied path. So the feminine cannot be separated from the material world. It cannot be separated from your body. She is your body. She is the energy that keeps you breathing and keeps your blood flowing. So while when we want to follow the path of the masculine, we want to transcend the body. We want to transcend the mind. We want to raise higher states of consciousness that bring us outside that material existence and allow us to connect to that feminine observer. Sorry, I lost the word. To the viewpoint of the observer, of that higher observer, of that higher consciousness that just observes the all of everything. That is the masculine practice. But the feminine practice, she is different. When we want to take the path of the feminine, it doesn't go through transcending the body. It goes through entering the body and descending deeper into the body. Feminine ascension happens through descension, landing deeper in your bones, landing deeper in your muscles, landing deeper in your flesh, becoming more and more and more aware of your body, connected to your body, connected to your breath, feeling all the feelings, feeling all the sensations, becoming so present in that physical existence that you are able to tap from your existence in this physical body into the web of life with which you are connected at all times simply through existing in this physical body. And through that web of life, you can feel everything. The masculine sees, the feminine feels. And you can feel the all of everything, and you can feel everything that exists on the planet, and you can feel everything. Just like he sees from above everything that exists and can have that awareness of everything, she feels it. She has the awareness of everything that exists and being connected to that and being that all of everything through feeling, because she can feel everything. And so that's the difference. While the masculine transcends the body, and he does so through his heart portal, through his heart space, she descends into the body to ascend through her womb space. And so that's a very, very important point, because that's where it really separates the path of working with feminine spirituality compared to masculine spirituality, which is masculine wants to leave the body, in the sense of it wants to transcend this physical existence. On its spiritual path, it wants to leave the mind behind by emptying it out, becoming the empty space and the observer that observes the empty space. And that happens through aligning with his active heart space. And that's really, really important, because the way we are built as feminine and masculine beings is super interesting in our energetic field. So with feminine beings, the heart energy is directed outwards. So if you see the heart chakra, for example, spinning, like this heart portal spinning in its energy, the feminine beings always have this energy pouring outwards. This is why we're seen as those loving, nurturing beings, mother archetype. It's that love energy that constantly pours outwards. And our womb space, our feminine womb space, is receptive. It calls energy in. That's what allows us to take in the seed to create life, because energy is drawn into the womb space. While in masculine beings, it is just the other way around. Their sexual organs are directed outwards. Also in the appearance, you can literally see that in our physical appearance, like the breasts of the women are directed outwards, and her yoni space and womb space is directed inwards. It's receptive. And with men, it's the other way around. And so their sexual organs are directed outwards. And so the energy is directed outwards. It's active. It's a giving principle. It's sending energy out. While the heart space is directed inwards. It's flat. It's even. And so that's where they receive, through the heart. And so that is very important when you look at feminine and masculine spirituality, because it is always the receptive center that takes us in through the portal that we hold within our bodies, that allows us to directly connect back to God consciousness, to the void, the all of everything, the source we have come from. It is always the receptive portal that takes us there. And with men, that is their heart space. And so that's why they empty the mind, they empty the body, they kind of like, they transcend the body through connecting to the love within them, and then transcending into the awareness that sees from above all of everything. While women have the receptive space in their womb. And so for them, it means landing deeper in the body, coming home to the body, bringing the consciousness, bringing the awareness all the way down to the womb space in which that portal lies. So she can so deeply feel her body, herself, her womb, that she can open and access this portal that then also takes her into the all of everything and connects her with the all of everything. Though her experience might be slightly different, because if you're a feminine dominant being, you're going to be more sensitive to feeling the all of everything than seeing it. And you can have both highly developed as intuitive gifts. But the nature of the feminine is just a tendency to feel more, to feel deeper. And that is okay. And so that is where feminine spirituality and masculine spirituality separate in that path. Because while the masculine needs to really work on the transcending and becoming the empty space and going through the portal of the heart into the all of everything, the feminine really needs to work on embodying herself, coming deeper into her body, landing here, feeling it, feeling deeper, feeling more, allowing herself to be more present in the body, to be more connected, to really dive into the material existence, into this physical existence, to open the portal of her womb space so she can connect to the all of everything. And that is something that has been forgotten for millennia and millennia, and it's just starting to reemerge now. These are ancient wisdom teachings that have been practiced in the old mystery schools, but have been forgotten and distorted with the last millennia. As the feminine has been suppressed and the patriarchy took over, these wisdoms have been forgotten, and we're just now starting to reclaim them and remember them and bring them back. And so if this is something that resonated with you and that calls to you and you feel, wow, yes, oh my God, that's where I was challenged all this time, because I was stuck in masculine spiritual practices, and I just feel that's not my way. I feel called to that feminine path. I feel that that can help me unlock the mysteries within me. Then I really invite you to stay tuned, because I'm now gonna regularly bring and upload videos on the topic of the feminine path that can help you and support you in rediscovering, reclaiming, and remembering this beautiful way of feminine spirituality. And yeah, I will in general speak about women because it just feels aligned. But if you're a man and you feel you want to embrace the feminine spiritual path, it feels aligned to you, then you are so welcome here too. This is not focused on one gender, even though I will, for the ease of the conversation, refer to women mostly. It is not focused on one gender, and you're so welcome here as a man too, if you relate and resonate with this feminine path. And so I'm so grateful for you to be here, that you were here, that you took the time to watch this video. I really hope you got something out of it. And yeah, thank you for being you. Thank you for being here. And I can't wait to see you in the next video. Until then, take care, and I will see you soon. Bye, loves.